Perhaps Arteta is not the man. Perhaps there was one man to lead us from the darkness and another that will lead us to the promised land. Because just challenging for the title, that's not the promised land, is it? What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Gooner channel, and today I've come to a calm place. A calm place where the sun feeding the green leaves of the trees which play host to the singing birds, distant church bells, and beneath all these, a babbling brook. So why have I come to a calm place? I think you know. I think we all watched the game against Bournemouth. Slow, processional, without ideas. Difficult watch, and not really that surprising that we lost it, but really disheartening because we've known for a long time that we weren't going to win the league. Probably honestly since January, or at least the end of January. But we've done enough to take it for granted that we'll finish second, and now I'm not honestly sure. An away trip to Anfield, we've still got to play Newcastle and Southampton. Whilst I could see us getting 4 or 5 points from those games, we should at least get 3 from Southampton. Newcastle have a lot to play for, and we're playing like we've got the fear at the moment. And this is all on the back of coming into the season knowing that, you know, that this was potentially a volatile season for Arsenal fans. It was difficult because for some of us, Arteta has ushered us out of a very dark period, a period of hopelessness. The end of the Unai Emery era was just desperate, you know, unable to beat Frankfurt in the Europa League, having been humbled by Chelsea 4-1 in the Europa League final the season before, not looking like progressing, you know, ultimately finishing 8th in that season, even though Emery didn't make it all the way through. It was just the players, Mustafi, Socrates, David Luiz at the end of his career. I like David Luiz, but not really as a centre-back. Hopeless, devoid of ideas, the formation's not working, the fans disengaging, and I think Arteta has done an incredible job in taking us to where we are now, which is challenging. But I think it's fair to say that there are expectations beyond just challenging. Challenging in itself is not a goal. So if you are a team that challenges for some period of time, after a certain period of time, people are going to expect you to actually win something. And this season, our eggs obviously are all in one basket. And the big fear I had going into Paris Saint-Germain game was that some of the problems that have beset us in the last few years would come back again. And that is that when it matters most, we just lack the fight. We seem to stroll around. Maybe fight's the wrong word. Maybe what it actually is we lack the confidence. And yesterday's performance was just another one of those. Too many this season already. Too many draws. Too many failures to get over the line. And now it is starting to look a little bit nervy. And the effect of that on the fan base is what I was really worried about. Because football for me has always been a diversion. It's always been something I do for fun. It's always been joyful. We haven't always won silverware. I wonder if how much of my joy at football came from the fact that there was this really wonderful story arc from supporting in 83 without too much hope to suddenly and magically winning in 87, and then the title in 89 and 91, and just as you know, the euphoria of double cups and the Cup Winners' Cup was subsiding into really poor league positions, and again a fear that we were wandering into the wilderness. Arsene Wenger arrived, and from 1997 to 2006, that decade was stunning. And at the end of it, I think I needed to take a deep breath. I needed to recharge. But I didn't know it was going to be this much of a deep breath out. We have become what in my childhood teams like Manchester United were, which is great once, also Rans now. And I knew going into this season that the debate would rage on if we had a poor season, because people like me were saying Arteta's making progress. Meanwhile, other people were saying progress be damned, we want silverware. And you can't keep us all happy. But silverware would have kept us all happy. Now, I know I say this as we have on Wednesday to go to Paris in order to beat Paris Saint-Germain. 2-0 would do it. And if we do that, then we're in a final and the mood changes. And that'll likely have an impact on the league games as well. Because to some degree, the Bournemouth game it's really difficult to focus on. It always is going to be. And I'm sure Paris Saint-Germain losing as well at the weekend is another reflection of that. Although I know they didn't play a full strength team. So I'm here in this calm place because I woke up this morning with a kind of sense of football's tough, but it's made tougher by the people around you. Everywhere I look, there's anger and frustration, and what I'm not seeing in the players in terms of fight, maybe I'm not seeing in the fan base either. We're 1-0 down against Paris Saint-Germain. We are still second. I know it's not good enough before one of you tells me, elite sports is about winning things. And I'm sick and tired of people who look like they couldn't do an elite egg and spoon race talking to me about what elite sports is. I have no idea what elite sports takes. It's easy for me to stand here and say, yesterday Arteta did all the things that really frustrate me about him. Kind of stuck between a full strength team and a half and half, stuck with things far longer than needed, didn't get the team firing on all cylinders, gave us a sort of cockiness. We weren't set up properly, and when changes were needed, they didn't come until too late. It's easy for me to see what Arteta apparently can't see, but it is worth reminding us all that from the age of 8 years old, Arteta stood out as one of the best players in his school and youth club. He was picked for La Masia Academy at Barcelona and trained with some of the world's greatest coaches in the world's greatest training association under some of the greatest players ever to have lived. He forged a professional career which spanned several countries, successful, became captain of Arsenal as a player, achieved many of the goals he would have had, maybe not all of them, but more than most professionals, more than 99% of professional footballers could ever dream to. Became wealthy before being plucked at the end of his playing career by arguably the world's greatest living manager to be his assistant, in which role he achieved silverware, league titles. He was offered the Arsenal manager's job as his first foray into management when we were 8th, unable to qualify for the Champions League, unable to qualify through the Europa League, humbled in a final, no idea, captains throwing armbands down, fans disengaging, and in the time that he's been manager, he has won us the FA Cup, which I know isn't enough for anyone, and myself included. I don't think it's enough really. But from where we were to now, on the edge of a possible Champions League final for only the second time in our history, competing in only our third semi-final in the Champions League, second, probably, likely, hopefully second 3 years running, which is more than Arsene Wenger was able to achieve in the last decade of his career. All having totally rebuilt the squad, restructured the squad. I know people talk about he spent a net 600 million, but he's spent a net 600 million and rebuilt the entire squad. And I don't hate our players, but there are some that obviously at the moment have gone missing. And Odegaard and Trossard, I don't think I'm the only one who thinks they need a kick up the arse. I think Trossard's days are numbered now, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but I won't be sorry to see him go. But where we are now under Arteta is a massive distance from where we were. But that's not me saying that I think he's necessarily the right man to lead us over the line. We're all waiting to see if that's true. And I pray he wins us the Champions League. Because beating Paris Saint-Germain 2-0, if you listen to a rump of Arsenal fans who weren't alive in '89, they'll tell you, oh, we're not going to go to Paris and win 2-0. I don't know, Liverpool won 1-0. They have conceded at home. Villa scored twice. I want to take us back to 1989 and the spirit of '89, and it's absolutely all right for you to not believe. But on the night, we need to cheer, we need to chant. I have no doubt that the away fans in Paris will do us proud. But we need to summon some energy, because if we're going to ask for the players on the pitch to give their everything, then why shouldn't we? I know that there is a body of thought that says actually that we should be motivated by them, not the other way around. But it's all too easy these days, isn't it? Turn the telly on, sit back, drink a beer, eat some popcorn and wait for people to make you happy. Nah, come on, man. Let's give it some. Let's be Arsenal fans who believe. This is our Anfield 89. If we achieve this and we go on and win the final against Inter or Barca, whoever the hell it is, then this season will be our proudest season. And we will share in that together. And if it isn't, well, we've got to do an autopsy, haven't we? We've got to have a think about it. I don't personally think Arteta's job is in any peril whatsoever. I think the Cronkies still believe in him, and maybe that's a good thing, maybe not. We'll have time to talk about that, but this isn't the time. Now, it's all eyes on Wednesday. It's down to each and every one of us to manifest a 2-0 victory like 89. Calmly going in at half-time 0-0, scoring halfway through the second half, and then at the death, Bukayo Saka pops up and scores the winner. I want you to imagine what you'll feel like. Manifest that. I'm not discussing anything else until we've all seen that happen, because God knows there's enough time after an event, if it doesn't go our way, for us to bitch and complain and whinge. And I'm seeing a lot of that, and I'm not pretending I don't feel it as well, but come on, Arsenal. Come on, Arsenal fans. This is our tribe. We send these 11 men out onto the pitch to bring us something, and they deserve our full support until they disappoint us. And I know they disappointed us yesterday, as they have done several times this season, but it ain't over till it's over, all right? So, I'll be doing a live later on. Please join me. For now, I'm going to enjoy more of this absolutely stunning English countryside. And just been for a run, and I'm going to walk it off. Till I see you later, be lucky. Lots of love.
Tuned in, red and white thread on Pablo. The cooler channel got the heat, torch the gaggle. Every match dissected with precision so keen. Streaming live, they the North London scene.